So, Apple has always been the gold standard for premium pricing. They've perfected the art of charging more for less and convincing us it's magic. But now there's a new kid in town trying to beat Apple at its own game, and that's Nintendo with the Switch 2. Yes, Nintendo, the company known for fun, family-friendly games and handheld consoles that never quite kept up with the latest in hardware specs, is now stepping into premium territory. If you thought the original Switch was a bit pricey when it launched in 2017, brace yourself. The Switch 2 might just make your MacBook look like a bargain. Let's break this down. No fluff, no filters, just the facts, the fire, and a whole lot of sarcasm. Money with Wings, Nintendo's new math. 450 is equal to 1,000? All right, so the Switch 2 is reportedly priced at $450. That's a $150 hike over the original Switch launch price. But wait, that's just the starting price. Because of course it is. Want a game with your console? Sure, just drop $500 for a bundle. What's in the bundle? Hopefully, hopes and dreams, because the actual content seems to be lagging behind that price tag. And here's the thing, the game isn't even bundled for free anymore. You remember the wee days when you got Wii Sports and it was magical? Nintendo clearly doesn't. Just like Apple, Nintendo is pulling a page from the accessories sold separately playbook. Video games for $90. That's a boss fight. Physical games are rumored to hit $90, while digital ones could hit $80. Pause for dramatic effect. I mean, let's be real. That's PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X territory, and even those consoles at least have the hardware horsepower to back it up. The Switch 2 is still likely going to be playing catch-up in terms of performance. Worse yet, some of the physical game cartridges might not even contain the game data. Yep, it's just a download key. You know, the thing that takes up space physically, but still requires internet and storage space like a digital game. So, now you're paying more for less, and you don't even get the satisfaction of owning a real copy. That's some DLC level disrespect. Mobile phone Switch 2, an iPhone with buttons? Let's not ignore the design shift either. Early leaks and whispers suggest that the Switch 2 is just a beefed-up iPhone with a few knobs. Sounds familiar? Apple's already there. We literally have the iPhone 15 Pro Max that can run Resident Evil 4 and Death Stranding. Add a backbone controller and boom, it's Nintendo's worst nightmare. But Nintendo didn't stop there. They went all in with separate camera accessories, extra charges for ergonomic controllers, and even a new C button that some say stands for cash or credit, because it activates the game chat feature, which you now have to pay for. You heard that right. Paying extra just to talk to your friends in a game. If Apple did this with FaceTime, people would riot. Wait, we kind of already do that by paying $1,000 for a phone, so maybe Nintendo's not totally crazy. Brain Apple side eye, bold moves only. Apple, meet your pricing soulmate. Nintendo is straight up putting a paid service button right on the front of the console. Apple's still trying to convince us that their action button on the iPhone 15 Pro is revolutionary. But this is bold. Like Apple, Nintendo is also toying with paid upgrades for games you already own. You bought it once? Cool. Want it to run better on the Switch too? Pay again. It's a remastered double dip, and Apple's Tim Cook is probably watching in admiration. In fact, imagine Apple announcing that you can only use the latest iOS version if you pay for an iOS enhancement pack. Oh no! Wait, they've already sort of done that with device lockouts and system throttling. Light bulb eye tips for Nintendo. Milk that revenue cow. If you thought the Apple Pencil Pro and Magic Keyboard were expensive add-ons, Nintendo just raised the bar. And I wouldn't be surprised if they release a digital tour of the Switch 2 console and charge for it. Sounds ridiculous? They're already charging players for an in-game tour feature. Apple used to bundle things like the Tips app and iMovie. Nintendo? They're like, you want to learn how to use this thing? Cool. That's $5.99. Video game controllers. Uncomfortable yet pricier. Here's the kicker. There's an extra cost for the more comfortable controller. That's already Apple certified energy. But Nintendo also made a point to charge extra for an uncomfortable controller too. Now that's just elite trolling. It's like if Apple sold you the Magic Mouse and then said, "Hey, do you want one that charges from the bottom and one that's just extra slippery?" Why not both? For $129. Mobile phone with Aero, the separate app. For the same console, Nintendo, in another Apple-esque twist, introduced a smartphone companion app for the Switch too. But here's the weird part. You're already holding a touchscreen console in your hand. Why do you need to pull out another screen just to manage settings or game features? This is like Apple shipping a new iPad and saying, "To access settings, please download the Settings app on your iPhone." Also, it costs $9.99. Cloud Online Expansion Packception. Now this is where Nintendo took things from maybe greedy to comically villainous. The Switch 2 will require a base online subscription, just like before. But now, brace yourself, they're also introducing an expansion pack subscription for your subscription. It's like if Apple required iCloud Plus and then announced iCloud Plus Plus for premium cloud experiences. Actually, again, they sort of did. But still, Nintendo adding tiers within tiers just to play your favorite games online is next level. Balance scaled lawyers and lawsuits. Nintendo's secret cost driver? So why the ridiculous pricing? One theory. Nintendo is preparing a massive legal defense fund. They've been notoriously aggressive with lawsuits against fan games, emulator developers, YouTubers, you name it. Maybe Switch 2 costs $450 because $50 of that goes straight into their courtroom war chest. Objection? Overruled. Your wallet's already guilty. Turtle Bowser inflation? Another theory. Global tariffs and supply chain drama. Maybe Nintendo's been hit hard by international trade policies and is just passing that cost down to the consumer. Or maybe Bowser, now moonlighting as an economic advisor, decided it was time to inject some inflation into the Mushroom Kingdom. Brain final thoughts. Who did it better, Apple or Nintendo? The Switch 2 isn't just another console. It's a social experiment in pricing psychology. Nintendo is boldly asking, how far can we push loyal fans before they push back? It's the Apple approach. Only Nintendo added a few Goombas and a blue shell to it. Just like we accept Apple charging $1,299 for 128 gigabytes iPhone with a shiny finish, gamers will line up for a console that lets them play Mario Kart in 4K, even if it's technically 1080p upscaled. Handshake, a pricing match made in heaven. Nintendo and Apple might seem worlds apart in style and brand voice, but their pricing strategies are more alike than different. Both are built on brand loyalty, emotional connection, and the ability to sell you on experience rather than just hardware. So, if you've always admired Apple's way of turning everyday tech into status symbols, Nintendo's Switch 2 is the gaming industry's equivalent, and it's here to prove that even your childhood can be monetized. Welcome to the future of gaming, where the console is a service, the game is a subscription, and everything else is a microtransaction. And if you want a pro tip, start saving now, because Switch 2 might just be the most expensive fun you'll ever have.